I believe at the last session we said, was it Savage or Fox who was taking watch first? Because it was one of you was going to start, one of you was going to finish.
I was taking watch
Yeah, because I was about to. That's when I'm staring at the broom right now.
Yeah.
So-
I think we were about to switch off with Savage.
Okay, so
We
Savage
started having to talk with the broom.
Savage is the second half of the watch. And Savage, were you going to have a talk with the broom? Well, first, let's start with your perception check for your lookout here.
Mine or Savage's?
Savage's. Savage is taking over. Fox, you're asleep. You're sleeping.
Mhm.
You're slept.
Let me get my thing up. Perception. All right. We got a 17.
A 17. That's pretty good. From within the sort of magical cabin that Jebediah Peppermint conjured for you all, you sit dry and fairly comfortable, warm-ish, although you haven't lit a fire because there are windows for you to keep a lookout through on the cabin. So you're drier, and that makes you warmer, but it's not like toasty. You look out towards the lake where you've made your camp. The kind of crags of the mountains, poking up just beyond. A tiny amount of like shrubs and trees and things are growing just around this lake as like a body of water in the mountains, but not very much before it switches back to stone. And your keen ranger eyes, despite the cloud cover masking the sky and, limiting the available light, you don't see anything of note. And so as the hours tick on, you do find yourself with, a little bit of spare attention that you could devote to something else. For example, a broom, if you wanted to begin that conversation.
Savage is gonna sigh and look over at the broom and just start staring at it again.
What are you looking at?
Thought you spoke to me. Savage is gonna inch a little closer, and so what's the deal?
What are you
here
speaking
for?
out loud, or are you speaking in your head?
I'm speaking out loud. Do I just speak in my head for this one?
No, you just are hearing the broom in your head. I just
Oh.
wasn't sure if you were gonna wake everyone else up with your speaking, or if you were gonna.
No, I think I was gonna whisper to it.
Okay.
Probably. Whisper back.
Yeah, what's up?
So tell me your story.
Okay, well, so there was a tree, right? And someone cut down the tree, and they were like, "We're gonna make stuff out of this tree."
All right, let me be a little more specific. Why are you here with these guys?
Why I'm with them? For a second I thought you meant the specific tree, and I was like, dude, I don't know. I've only ever been part of one tree. I was up in this place where for a while there were lots of people and there were things happening, and I was cleaning and it was great. I was living my best broom life, and then everybody left, and I was just leaning against a wall for years, and the dust was collecting, but nobody would come pick me up to sweep, and it was infuriating. And then these two dudes, one of them, the orc guy, and another guy, kind of like a bigger, lazy dude, came into the place where I was, and I was like, "Hey guys, you should totally clean. It's dusty up here," and they ignored me. They said I was a convenient hallucination, and that was infuriating too. But then these other people came up here. The short guy, and well, really everyone except you came up to where I was, and I was like, "Hey, you should take me with you. Psst, take me with you." And one of them was like super open-minded and great about it. Was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take you with me." And so that's how I wound up with the group here. And it's great because like for such a long time I've been like cleaning up after adventurers, but now I'm like, I'm the adventurer, bitch.
Well, so you're telling me that you just joined just for the heck of it.
Yeah, I was like, let's go.
Interesting. Not
about
the answer
you?
I was expecting.
Why are you here?
Savage is gonna kind of like shake his head and be like, "I can't believe I'm talking to a broom," and he's gonna turn back and continue on, and start with the story where he met them on the trail, of course, at the factory, and after a little while, he's just gonna kind of look back into the distance and kind of just rest his head back a little bit, and just take it all in a little bit more.
Just chilling.
Just to finally he can like rest, because this is like the most rest that he gets is during these night times.
Yeah,
because
for
even
real.
then he's always on work. He's taking other people through this mountain.
Yeah.
So
Savage is just kind of chilling. The conversation kind of waxes and wanes and fades away, and Savage is looking out at the rain, and it's not dawn yet, but you kind of have the expectation of dawn, at any moment, and so you're kind of watching the horizon for like when that gray light starts to kind of creep in, especially with the cloud cover. It should be really obvious because it'll streak along underneath all the clouds and kind of catch on the rain. And you don't see that just yet, but you do see something a little bit odd. Savage, once in your home village north of Udril, you saw the celestial ribbon. A shimmering, twisting veil of green and teal fluttering through the sky. And your village healer told you that it was a sign of peace between Gonteus, the god of the moon, and Zanir, the god of the stars, sort of a dance between the two deities, which makes it weird in a magicless, godless world to see it. Also, is it getting bigger? This green ribbon
yeah, go ahead.
whipping through the sky. No, cut in any time. Whipping through the sky, under the cloud cover, catching on the rain. It's definitely getting bigger. It's definitely coming towards you.
Savage is going to kind of stand up after noticing that this is not a normal phenomenon. He's going to kind of knock on the door. I would imagine he's outside.
He can be, sure. That's fine.
So he's going to kind of knock on the door and just open it up and be like, hey, you all might want to wake up. And try to get everybody up. If they're not up, try to shake them up.
Sure.
What is it?
What's going on, man?
Savage is
going to
kind of
be
towards where you saw
I hope
it. It
it's
is like
'cause I just
fully
got
closed
sleep.
half the distance between where it was and where you are now. It's now whipping and winding among the mountaintops, kind of zooming towards you.
Savage is going to just tell everyone we need to go now, and he's going to try and retreat back into any wooded area that there is more cover.
Sure. So the ground is like a little bit soft and wet from the misting rain, and so it's pretty easy for Savage to run across it. It's not, muddy or anything. It's just kind of soft. So you probably leave some footprints, but you're more concerned with getting out of the way. And as everyone else is kind of rousing themselves and getting ready to do whatever their thing is going to be, this greenish, tealish kind of streak of light flies into the cabin where you're all resting. I would like dexterity saves from the three of you who have been awoken but are not quite out of the cabin yet.
Is this count as something Alan could see as
Yes,
this is
Alan
happening,
can
or no?
see it.
Okay.
Zoth got a 10.
Okay.
Alan got a natural 20.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm not. It's a nat one.
It's a nat one.
20, 10, and
It's a nat
1.
one. Hear me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will give Jake a choice here. Owlin,
Okay.
in his role as leader, has to sometimes make tough decisions. With his natural 20, Owlin could suffer no penalties at all, or Owlin could save Fox and suffer minor penalties.
Alan will save Fox and suffer minor penalties.
Okay. Owlin
Yo,
dives
teamwork
across
makes
the
the dream work.
room, knocks Fox to the ground. Zothkug tries to get out of the way. All three of you get yourselves out of the way to the point where it's kind of like a glancing blow. And there's no force behind it. This is not a corporeal something. But as it kind of swings past, you feel like a slight kind of burning acidic sensation as this ribbon, whatever it is, of light kind of just zooms into the cabin and bounces all off the walls, going back and forth, and then eventually ricochets back out the door towards Savage. All of you take 3d4 of poison damage, which you may roll for yourselves. Unfortunately, Jeb, who I rolled for, also rolled quite poorly. And Jeb, who is still in the process of sitting up, is stricken ill and finds himself without... he's unable to speak, and he finds himself very fatigued as he is stricken. It's like a sort of a deep pneumonia type thing. And he's just kind of sitting there on the floor, like stunned in place, whatever. And like looking around like, what the heck was that? Savage, from outside the cabin, you see as the green light zooms off into the distance and then seems to disappear, or not like vanish from the world, but vanish from view, like it's beyond you.
Yeah, Savage is gonna run right. Like he's gonna notice that no one else got out like in time with him. He's gonna run back to check on everybody.
Sure,
Can I do a medicine check on Jeb?
absolutely.
So does Jake
21.
helping Fox, does Alan helping Fox count as a success for Fox?
Yes. You're gonna try and take no damage, basically.
Yes.
I'll give you half damage because on a success, you were gonna take damage. You know what I mean? Like,
So half of that damage you told us.
yeah. So roll your damage
Okay.
and take half of it.
I got a 21 on medicine.
Okay. Jeb has been stricken by the equivalent of a ray of sickness spell, but cast at a higher level than the base level for it. You know, that spell is normally a pretty low power level, but this is a little bit more severe. Unusually, and Zoth, in his capacity as a healer, has seen different diseases and sicknesses and things. Unusually, this particular spell does not bear the marks of a caster. Typically, you kind of get, it's not like it's branded with the name of the person, but you can sort of see a little bit of a fingerprint or a thumbprint of the unique magical aspects of a spell like this. In this case, however, it's almost like it's a purer magic, like a naturally occurring or a phenomenon of the world kind of magic. And it doesn't seem to have been cast by anybody.
Okay. Do I know if this is lasting or
Because of the basically you can tell it's a tree because of the way that it is. Because of the way that it is, in as far as being like a it's almost like wild magic.
okay.
It will go away on its own, like the spell will expire, but it would be very challenging to heal without like the right material components to undo the spell, basically. So
Okay.
it's probably best to just give it a day, and it should go away on its own. And Jeb, you know, understanding this from you, kind of, you know, writing back and forth with little messages in his spell book or whatever, communicates like he'll just kind of hang back for today and try and keep himself out of harm's way. And
All right.
that's kind of where he'll be and what his situation will be.
Convenient.
Sure is.
That is, I don't know if I've heard of any sort of naturally occurring phenomenon that could do such a thing.
Yeah,
if
what-
Alan rolls Arcana or History,
It
could he
is.
see if he could gain some insight on that?
Absolutely.
Why was it so rude?
All right, he's gonna do Arcana.
Sure.
Savage can also mention that. Oh yeah, like you can go after coming back inside and checking on everybody. I'd imagine that we've already gone through that, but Savage will say, "I also have, remember seeing one of these growing up as a child, except it wasn't something that was violent. It was a natural phenomenon that was in the air, almost like an aura that just floated through the night sky. But I've never seen it on the attack like this. I didn't even know that it had the capability to do so."
The auras are mad at the world.
Alan got a dirty 20 on his Arcana roll.
Alan, you don't think this and the Celestial Ribbon are the same thing. There is
Okay.
such a thing as a living spell, which is a sort of when there is too much magic in an area and it can't be contained or channeled properly. Sometimes spells will sort of escape the caster before they are cast and just kind of run amok. And based on your knowledge of it, as it depletes its power, as it moves around, because it's already like outranged a normal ray of sickness, as it depletes its power, it should fizzle and disappear on its own, especially in a world with no weave for it to continue sort of charging from. But it seems like this is the sort of thing, it feels chaos energy to you. You've never seen or heard that in that context before. But it seems like the kind of thing that might happen as like a stray effect from like a stronger concentration of chaos energy, because normally they're like harmless sensory effects when you know that energy from the plane of limbo kind of goes loose. But this seems like it could be something like that.
Gotcha. Alan will relay that to the group and say, yeah, I don't think it's the same thing that you were describing necessarily, Savage, but it could have been a stray wild spell that essentially can sometimes form when there is too high of a magical concentration in one area, and I would bet that that is due to the large amount of chaos energy that we are about to run into.
Anyway, did we expect this to happen again, or can I get my sleep?
I would say
I think we should be good. Jeb should be fine. He just needs to rest for a day or so.
I can continue watch because I was still in the middle of it.
I think it's unlikely that something exactly like this will happen again, but we should continue to keep our guard up as we normally would for anything, not to overuse the word, but chaotic.
Good talk.
And so Savage is going to go over to Alan because I guess Fox is already out.
Yeah.
And mention to him about this. There is a interesting factory-like building that used to be in an area where there was a shrine. It kind of got taken over when all the shrines started getting destroyed. But that building itself might explain your energy, odd energy that you were talking about.
That's quite possible.
I have no idea what's inside of it, though. I've only ever avoided it myself. But ever since that's been here, I will say we've had to be extra careful.
Will we? So I mean, obviously we'll try to avoid it, but will we sort of cross it or pass by it?
We are going to have to pass by it. Unfortunately, we have one place to go through first. Should be a very easy travel or pass to go through. The only thing that I've noticed is maybe some violent wildlife and maybe airships to look out for, but nothing we can't handle. After that, we will have to go around it, but with this crew, we should be able to easily avoid it.
Okay, that's good. There is a sort of instinct in me, perhaps instilled by Gunnar after meeting him for a while, that enemy base, time to destroy it. But we obviously don't want the enemy to see us coming for this final assault. So
as easy as that sounds,
to
just blow everything up, and I'd be all for it. We need to continue on with the plan we have.
I agree. It's just something that came to mind, and I'm sure if we had Gunnar here, he would be thinking about it much more seriously than we are.
This Gunnar sounds like a fellow. I would love to meet him one day.
He's quite interesting. In that case, I will turn in as well, and I'll take one of the watches tomorrow night.
All right. And Savage is just going to kind of walk back out to, I guess, the front of the cabin and take a seat.
Yep. And the next time that Savage wakes the adventurers traveling with him, it is because morning has come and it's time to enter Goat's Ridge Pass. And you know what that means. It means it's story time at the Wing Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
Zanir, Gonteus, Kotix, Owara. Long ago, the four ancients created a world in harmony. Then, everything changed when the chat amped magic. Only Kelnor, master of good vibes, could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. 2 years have passed, and four adventurers have discovered a conspiracy, a company selling magic. And although their roleplay is great, they have a lot of XP to earn before they're ready to save anyone. But I believe they can save the world.
Welcome back to the Wing Badger Tavern, where friends tell stories. I'm here with some of my friends. Let's meet them.
I am Jake, and I play Alan Woodrear, the Azamar Barbarian Artificer. And I'm going to popcorn this intro to Cleo.
Hello, I am Cleo. I play Fox, the rogue changeling barbarian. And I'm happy. I set up my bookcase. Why did I say barbarian? Bard.
Change?
I'm just like re-educating myself a little bit. You know, they never say it's too late to change career paths. So, no. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. And over on to Trevor.
Hello, I am Trevor. I play Zovkok Hibub, the orc cleric, once dead and risen again. And for the third straight week in a row, I am Josh's friend. So, we're going to keep that streak rolling.
What's going on, guys? It's T-Sav, aka Sir T-Sav. I play Savage Tempest, the Wood Elf Ranger, and tonight I'm going to be leading a bunch of goofballs through the mountains, and hopefully nothing bad happens.
And I'm Josh, the Wing Badger Game Master, and I play everybody else. Special thanks to Sir T-Sav for joining us again for this one. If you are not watching him on Twitch, go do that. He's way better at games than we are. But until then, let's get back into tonight's Dungeons and Dragons adventure. And that means that we are awakening, getting ready to leave the Lake Vista and head towards Goats Ridge Pass. Savage, you are the one waking everybody up. How do you do it? Are you gentle or are you forceful?
Oh, no, Savage he's not gentle. He's going to kind of push everybody awake and tap on things to wake everybody up.
The rain is continuing to fall outside, even as the cabin is dispelled, so you are going to get just a little bit wet.
All right, crew, it's time to move on out if we want to get going and get there efficiently.
Let's do it.
With this rain coming down, we might have to trek a little bit quicker because the longer it rains, the harder it is for us to traverse.
That is why I have these fur boots. Alan will smile and point to his big fur boots he's been wearing this entire campaign.
His other clothing.
Yeah.
Alan with his briefs and his boots.
The boots have a story.
All right. Well,
pulls this hood up.
Goats Ridge Pass is a thin, winding, almost ravine. It's not quite deep enough to be a ravine. It is as if a single peak were split down the middle, probably by water just over time. And so there are two kind of sharp outcroppings at the top of it, and then a very narrow pathway, which you are all able to walk in mostly normally. There are a couple of moments where you'll need to turn and kind of shimmy sideways, but walking one at a time, you are able to make it through the pass. I would love to know the order in which you're traveling. I assume Savage is leading.
Mm-hmm.
Alan would then volunteer to bring up the rear, probably.
Zovkok will be second.
Fox will be third to kind of help make sure the rear is,
Great.
has good eyes.
Cool. And Jeb is just going to burrow in the interest of his own safety. So Jeb stays just out of the way, burrows, and every now and then you hear a little muffled cough come up through the dirt. But he otherwise is not particularly participatory. So you enter Goats Ridge Pass, and it is still raining lightly, but here within the pass itself, only little bits and drops come in from time to time. Because you're up in the mountains, they're still sizable. So it's like whenever you get that occasional huge raindrop that splatters you in the eye or whatever, it's that kind of really annoying rain. And you all are sort of making your way through. You're kind of dislodging little stones as you kind of kick through the different pieces or worm through little corners. It's a pretty long pass. Savage, I'd love to get a perception check from you to keep watch for the various things that could be dangerous in the near future here.
I also have a question too. Sure. I know it's in the mountains, but what's the vegetation like as well? Is there any small trees, bushes, or is it solely just rock and gravel?
Goats Ridge Pass is not wide enough for most kinds of fauna and flora to grow. There is at the very bottom of it, sort of where your feet are, this kind of 3 to 5 foot wide path that you're on. There is some hardy mountain moss and ivies and things that just kind of cling to the rock, but it's otherwise pretty bare and smooth rock that is all around you.
Good to know. All right, I'm gonna roll. I got a non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20, great. Savage has done this pass a bunch of times, and so he's pretty confident in his positioning and where the things are to look out for, and he easily guides you over those few areas where the rocks are getting a little thin or where there are some dangerous little crags you might, twist your ankle in or anything like that. And so without much difficulty, but it does take you a lot of time, you spend your morning and into your early afternoon kind of navigating this long, winding pass one at a time. As you're kind of coming up to what Savage, there are 2 turns before the end of Goats Ridge Pass, 2 little winds. You just need to wind right, and then you need to wind left again, and you'll be out of Goats Ridge Pass. but you hear something up ahead. You hear, at first you think maybe it's, one of those sort of wild animal families that you hear sometimes dislodging little stones as they climb up. This is called Goats Ridge Pass for a reason. There's a number of, mountain goats and things that traverse this way. But you hear, it's too regular. You hear another few stones being dislodged again. You're pretty confident that these are maybe like a looping path, almost like a back and forth, and maybe they're kicking little pebbles every time they turn, like a booted foot kind of swiveling in the stone or something like that, might be dislodging little stones and kind of knocking them down into the pass.
Savage is going to kind of put his hand up and kind of stop the group a little bit. How dark is it right now? Because I know it says early morning, but is like the sun up already?
So it's actually afternoon by now. We've spent most of the morning traversing this pass, and it is rainy, so it's like a sort of a middle gray. It's not charcoal dark, but it's dark-ish. It's dark enough that someone who was wearing gray could blend into the stone if they weren't moving. It is not dark enough that you could just walk past and no one would know just because they're above you and you're down here.
Gotcha. All right. I'm kind of signal back to them and kind of whisper, well, if somebody's up ahead, then they definitely know we're here. But he's going to kind of stop the group and kind of slowly inch his way ahead to try to see if he can peek on the noise or what's making the odd movement.
Roll a stealth check and a perception check. We're going to go stealth first.
That went far. Where is the stealth one? So that's a 21 for stealth.
Great.
And then, perception's a 9.
Perception's a 9.
Dang.
You do not see anything as you lean around the corner. Although you are also confident that nothing has seen you. You're like, oh, I'm so sneaky. But you lean around the corner and you can see, again, it's a pretty thin path and it's pretty barren. So, a quick look really should suffice to see everything there is to see. You do not see any living creatures or dead creatures in front of you. You don't see any wildlife or humanoids. You see the rain coming down, the kind of steep, craggy sides of Goats Ridge Pass, which you could probably climb if you needed to. But it would take it would take a feat of athletics, shall we say, to scale the walls of Goats Ridge Pass. Then, a little ways down, probably 50 feet away, is the final bend before you would leave Goats Ridge Pass and enter the next part of your journey.
We are kind of exposed down here. If someone happened to be above us, then we would be essentially sitting ducks. Do you... I think I could scale the cliff face somewhat to get a better look above us.
That might be actually really helpful, because I was going to say when we walk forward here, we also need to, wait. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. Savage is going to do a quick thing, really quick. He's going to kind of look back at the guys' hips and notice that the rods are there, and remember from the last time that he was in their presence. And he's going to go ahead and step forward and kind of take a deep breath and cast Find Traps.
Ooh, okay.
And it has a range of 120 feet.
Great. It only has a range of 100 feet today because that's as far as the weave from the rods reaches. That's not your fault.
Gotcha.
That's their fault for not saving the world yet. But let me look at the spell Find Traps here and see what's going on.
So glad I looked into my board. I was like, wait, I have something for this.
Here you go.
Which I can still use. There's
This
still
spell
one more. I
merely
think I can
reveals that a
use.
trap is present. You don't learn the location of each trap, but you do learn the general nature of the danger posed by a trap you sense. As you cast out magically, you've looked with your eyes, you've not seen anything, you've listened with your ears, you think you've heard something, so you kind of attune your senses to that weird kind of sixth sense that a ranger has, and you let the magic do some of the work. And you get the impression, you get this feeling, it's like a sensory feeling, You feel the impact. It's cold. It's sharp. It's maybe almost like an icy dagger kind of effect, and you feel it kind of scrape across your arms, maybe into your shoulder. It's definitely coming from above you, whatever this is. And so you get the sense that there is some kind of trap present, and that is the general effect that it may cause.
I think so. Savage is going to kind of like, take a deep breath again after casting the spell and just whisper to himself, "Oh, I miss doing that." And he's going to turn around and like let them know about that he has sensed something, and it seems that it's going to be coming from the air.
Okay.
Somehow.
I have an idea. I can cast invisibility on someone, right? And maybe one of us can climb up there and figure out what's going on up there. Whoever's the best at climbing.
It's not me.
I believe I am the best at climbing, but I am possibly the worst at being silent. But I think invisibility would help.
It's worth a shot.
Okay.
That would
Don't worry.
confirm what I'm feeling.
If any of you get hit, I can make sure you're better.
Well, that's good. We've been missing that. All right. Well, then I guess make me invisible and I can climb.
Will do. I'm gonna have to try to play this a little quietly, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Fox listens to the sound of the wind blowing through the pass. What kind of sounds are we hearing? Is it windy? Is it calm and quiet?
This pass is so thin that there is just a light amount of wind, and it, because of the fact it has this opening at the top and is otherwise pretty straight, it almost sounds like blowing across the top of a bottle. In fact, if you listen to the soundscape that's playing, you can actually hear the tone that you would hear.
All right. In that case, Fox takes a breath, listens, and plays the sax, trying to follow the tone.
Roll a performance check. The
Okay.
better you roll, the easier your stealth check will be.
Okay. Understandable.
I like this is where this is going.
This is a
Can I
really good
assist?
idea. No, you can't assist.
Performance check, you said, right?
Yes.
That is such a small font. Okay, there we go. 24.
24. Great.
Nice.
So you're a musician and you're a rogue with well-tuned senses. You're pretty good as far as capturing the pitch and replicating it with the saxophone. Now go ahead and roll stealth. We're going to see you're still casting a spell, and so now it's a matter of restraint. You've got the right note, but can you prevent it from standing out? And the DC is not as difficult as it could be.
29.
Oh, yeah. With a 29, you're feeling
Nice.
good. You're pretty confident that nobody heard you. Obviously, we can't know for sure, but you're
Sure.
feeling pretty confident. And as you play the saxophone, as you kind of match the tones of the mountain, because you're using restraint, the spell takes action like just a little bit slower than normal. And so you all almost watch Alan fade from visibility instead of the normal kind of toot, and he like pops out of visibility. Alan kind of fades in front of you, and Alan, you get that weird moment where you like look at your hand and you can see through it, but it's also there. And then you are fully invisible, and all the things you're wearing.
I'm sure that I have had a nightmare like this at some point, but all
Mr.
right.
Stark, I don't feel so good.
I know. I that would be such a like meta joke that I didn't say it, but that was my first thought as well. Well, all right. Wish me luck, and Alan will begin the climb.
Athletics check, please.
All right. 22 first
22
roll.
as Alan climbs up the side of the pass. That's a pretty good check. You don't need to roll another. Goats
Okay.
Ridge Pass is 40, maybe 50 feet tall. You know, it wavers, but it's between 40 and 50 feet tall. And Alan scales it relatively quickly. You're going a little bit slower because you're trying to stay hidden. But as you summit the pass, there is no like surface up here to fully stand on. Because it's kind of like the mountain is coming to a point. And so rather than standing or whatever, you have the option to either kind of crouch like a gargoyle, like the Assassin's Creed crouch, where you're kind of perched, or you can lay down and remain prone and crawl across the top of it. Which would Owlin choose?
So if he crouches and perches, he doesn't continue moving.
I mean, he could move forward if he wanted to. I would make him roll an athletics check to not like slip and knock some stones loose. He wouldn't fall and hurt himself. But
First, he'll try to observe what he can from this point, and if he doesn't see anything, then he'll start to try to move forward.
great. So Alan gets to the top and he kind of like hooks a leg on each side of the pass and just holds himself steady for a little bit, focused just on what he can see. And up here, you don't even really need to roll a perception check because there's not that much to obscure your vision. Ahead of you, there is an ambush set at the top of Goats Ridge Pass. You see 3 people, but the way that they're outfitted makes you convinced there is a fourth. One of them is clearly a spotter who's got a spyglass in one hand, and they're looking up and down the next stretch of Goats Ridge Pass, around the bend from you. Next to them is a marksman with a rifle of ice knife. You're very familiar with these rifles, having carried them yourselves. The marksman has like a backpack on with their spare ammunition, but they have affixed climbing hooks to the straps. So they're laying prone with the hooks holding them to the top of Goats Ridge Pass, and then just their head and the rifle peeking over the top of it to like take their shots. And then on the other side of the pass, with a cutlass drawn in one hand, you see more of like a skirmisher type soldier, someone who might jump in to reinforce. It's like a lighter weapon, and they're outfitted for quicker movement, which makes you confident that somewhere, probably in the pass, there is like a brute or like an up front kind of fighter who is, it's either a brute or a dupe. There might be someone down there who's like outfitted for the big fight, or there might be someone who's going to convince you to stop and stand still so the sniper can take the shot. You can't see from up here. You cannot see whatever's down there. Whoever's in the pass is very well hidden.
Do these look like they're wearing private security goons attire?
So they're all wearing like deep camo type stuff. They're all in like rock colors and things. One other thing you notice is that just beyond them, you see a small little like cave type thing that probably has like a bear family or something in it. You can see little like bones and stuff at the front. So there's a chance that you could also, lure out the bear family, but you'd have to get past them and get creative to pull that off.
Okay. If Alan, no, he's invisible. Gosh dang it! I was about to say, can Alan signal to his friends, but he can't. He
sure
literally
can't.
can't.
I mean, I guess he could like kick a stone down to him or something.
No. He will descend and report all of that to his friends, and he'll first kind of like when he descends, he'll kind of like clear his throat to announce that he's back a little bit instead of just scaring them. He'll kind of be like, I'm back.
How'd it go?
Savage is correct. There is an ambush laid for us further up the pass. I think they're I think they're private security goons. They're camouflaged. They are on top of either side of the pass. And I bet that there's one deeper in the pass on our level as well, either to distract us or to frontal attack us.
Hey,
so,
Max,
Yeah.
how many people can you make invisible?
Only one. And it's a concentration spell.
we can still, I think if we ascend the cliff kind of from where we are right now, as long as we are quiet, we could still ascend without them noticing, because they're pretty fixated on us, taking the low route.
Is there a high route?
Well, it's kind of crawling, but I think we could get the jump on them by taking the high route of crawling until we're within range to essentially ambush them with our ranged attacks.
Savage is also gonna step forward and mention again, because he's kind of, after using the spell a minute ago, he's kind of has a little bit of an adrenaline burst, and he kind of wants to do it again. So he's gonna mention that he has a spell called Silence that he could cast that would help us get the jump on them.
That could help as
Prevent
long
them from
as
screaming and any noise we cast from spells and attacks.
I think the only thing will be to make sure to cast it in a way where the silence doesn't envelop them, because at that point they will know something is wrong. We just needed to envelop us until we can get close.
I mean, silence should only affect a small area, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, you can center it on somebody or something.
Yeah. Yes. I just
So-
cannot remember the range of it at this point. It's not a spell that I use.
I think if we center it on one of us and we stay close together, I think we can get up this easy.
Okay.
I think you should still take the lead since you're still invisible, and I can keep that up.
I believe it's a 20-foot radius, by the way.
Okay. Well, that's perfect.
The sphere, the center of the sphere would be around me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. Sorry, guys.
It's
This is
gonna be
out
locked
of
to a
character. I'm trying to
point.
read it.
It's going to be
Oh,
locked to a
okay.
point. But 20-foot radius
Oh.
means 40-foot diameter, which is tall enough to get to the top of Goats Ridge Pass. You just wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be able to have it with you then. Like, you'd have to cast it again if you're going to try and crawl the whole way
Oh,
to
no,
the
I-
ambush without them
I
knowing.
kind of want to save. I don't want to do anything else after this one for sure. Because I want to save some slots. Yeah, I think I'll just do it. I'll do it for that.
The climb will be the most noisy part of it, so I
Yeah.
think that will be helpful.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think that would be the best way to go about this. We could take out the 3 that you mentioned that are waiting for us, and then with the one that's across the way that doesn't have any range, they would have trouble, maybe even trouble seeing what's going on if we take them out quick enough.
I think you're right. I
think
have one
that's
of their
probably what
rifles
throw
of
'em
ice
off.
knife. What'd you say?
I think our best bet is to try to physically throw them off. I mean, how far is the drop on the other side?
How far did it look, Josh?
Where it is steep enough that it's just fall and you don't start ricocheting off things, maybe 100 feet. Once you start
shoot.
bouncing off things, it kind of evens out, or it sort of slopes away until it becomes flatter and you get back into some of the other mountains. If you were to get the whole way to the bottom, probably 200 or 300 feet. But you're not sure what else is out there. So there might be like a rock or a boulder they could stop themselves on. But at least 100 feet would be the fall.
It's enough. It's enough feet to get them out of our way.
Yeah.
I can also create a telepathic link between us all for an hour if we want that.
Oh, that might be helpful for communicating in the silence, and also just not speaking, just in general.
But
All
it
right.
does only last an hour.
Okay.
Good enough.
I think that's a good plan.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and go do it then. Let's do it.
Okay. Before we start climbing, I'm going to cast Rary's telepathic bond.
Great.
I'm
Fortune-
also. Oh, go ahead.
Forge a telepathic link among up to 8 willing creatures, psychically linking them for the duration. Until the spell ends, the targets can communicate telepathically through the bond, whether or not they have common language.
Nice.
Cool.
Communication is
It
Possible
says
over
any
any
distance in the
distance.
spell, so we're gonna just say that between, like, each of you is carrying a rod, so we'll say, but as long as it's like within the triangle, of
Yeah.
the rod that the 3 of you are carrying, it works.
Nice.
So
Nice.
We're not
We
planning
can
on
all-
separating a whole bunch in this plan,
Yeah.
anyways. so-
yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know that we need to really think about that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me in your mind?
Testing, mic
Yes,
check.
this is my mental voice. This is how I sound in my own head.
Wow.
hey man, I sound the same in my head.
I also sound different.
No, I'm just copying the voice that Fox is doing. I still sound the same in my head as I
Would
do.
we all hear the
I can't
boom now?
believe you would do this to me.
Well, I simply cannot believe that is really what your mental voice sounds like. I think you're manipulating it across this psychic bond.
I have no idea what you speak of. We should get moving.
Savage is gonna cast silence now while we start walking up the mountain.
Okay.
Oh, Josh, I incled the broom in this too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Cool. The broom is in there.
Now, my thing only Oh. This thing.
Go ahead.
You
Now-
can talk.
I will say my silence only lasts 10 minutes.
Okay.
Understood.
So
We just have-
Savage
we just
casts
have to
silence
climb in
basically
that
up
time.
the side of the mountain so that you can climb up. I would like an athletics check from Zothkug. The other 3 of you, I'm confident, can scale the mountain in the time you have with no pressure. Zoth, there's a chance he falls and hurts himself. So actually,
I got-
Zoth, if you're not trained in athletics, it would just be raw strength.
Okay. It's the same modifier. Ooh, a 17.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, Zoth is also able to make it up. With 10 minutes under no pressure, you all make it to the top. However, what are you doing about the visibility? Like, I'm assuming Owlin's going to go up first, but as soon as the next one of you pokes your head up, you're going to be visible. Are you making any changes for
Fox
that?
is going to change his clothes to be a gray color, including the tutu.
Fox can only change the tutu, right? The tutu is his glamour robes. The rest of him is his red tunic and his normal trousers.
No, his armor was his glamour.
Right,
Remember that
but-
time?
Yeah, and didn't he have to turn his armor into a tutu? Wasn't that the
Yes.
bit?
Isn't that? I'm wearing clothes as part of that armor is with the tutu. I'm imagining it's tights and everything.
Oh, okay. All right.
In my mental mind, my whole outfit is
I
the
accept your
tutu.
mental image. Okay.
I love the idea of in my mental mind as opposed
Yes.
to my physical mind.
Right. I will accept what you have found in your mental mind. Fox, tights, tutu, maybe a dancer's leotard, all stone colored. And Fox climbs up to the top. Fox, roll stealth with advantage.
Advantage is saving me, baby. I say that and rolled even worse, but it's fine. Because 3 plus 15 is 18.
Nicely done. With an 18, Fox climbs up and is just trying so hard to be stealthy. So I'm assuming that means, Fox, you're going to stay laying down then. You're not going to like stand up and
Yes.
make a silhouette. So yeah, Fox stays laying down on the edge of the mountain. Savage comes up next. Savage, how are you surfacing?
I have an action called hide in plain sight,
Nice.
and I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So it also gives me a bonus to stealth checks as long as I remain there without moving.
So roll your stealth check for me. Mm-hmm. And don't forget your bonus.
So would I do that? So I do plus the mod I already have and the bonus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's probably
then we
like a
have
plus 14 or
26.
something now. Yeah. Okay. Great. And then Zothkug, you are the last one. Is Zoth going to climb up while the three of you are waiting, or are you going to start before Zoth is up there? Like, I guess I don't understand your plan fully. So
Alan is going to keep leading the way. Like, since he's invisible, he feels confident to just like keep crawling forward. And
Sure.
and it's like, so that way, if someone else got caught, he could still get close and start doing the shoving.
Okay.
Fox will follow.
Savage is also at this because Savage can't really move. Savage is gonna ready his trial by fire.
Nice.
His trusty sniper rifle that now has and he's gonna pull out something from his pocket, a little cylinder item, and twist it on the end of the barrel. And
Love
it
it.
has and if you look very closely, it has the 4GAV logo right on the barrel.
Nice.
Very cool.
And he's gonna ready up.
Awesome.
That's good branding.
And Zothkug, you're last. You get to the top. How is Zothkug surfacing?
Zothkug will just come up over the ledge or corner and be as down, like stay as low as possible, and just prop up next to Sir Top, or not Sir Top. Yeah,
Savage Tempest.
Savage Tempest. Sorry.
Who's here?
And
Just
and
telling
be
me something I
ready
don't know.
to cast a spell.
Savage is
You
actually
said he's
going to
cast a spell?
Get ready to cast a spell,
Sure.
not cast a spell.
Okay. So, Owlin, you are closing the distance. Fox, you are closing the distance. Savage, you've readied up. Zothkug, you've readied up. Oh, I need a stealth from Zothkug as well for when he climbs
Okay. That's an 8.
out. That's an 8. Owlin, you are close enough that if you were able to stand up and run, you could make it to the
Wait.
closest combatant.
Quick question.
Yes?
Is Jeb with us?
No, Jeb has stayed just like out of danger and underground.
He has the Rod of Luck and Chronal Shift Star.
That's too bad.
Okay. never mind.
So Zothkug it climbs up and kind of gets into position, and Owlin, you are 30-ish feet away from the closest the spotter, who is the closest soldier to you. We've got the spotter and the sniper on your side, and then a light skirmisher on the other side. When the spotter happens to glance up, look past you, and you get like a half second of confusion on their face, and then they're like, I see somebody, and the sniper rolls and like brings up his gun. Savage has his weapon ready, so Savage, I'll let you take the first move here.
I'm gonna Savage is gonna try to go for one of those classic movie scenes and shoot right at the sniper.
Okay.
Before he kind of gets a shot off.
Sure.
So,
Yo, if he rolls a nat 20, can we just all say he shot through the scope and hit the sniper in the eye?
We'll see.
There's no plus with this, right? It's just like a regular D20 roll.
It's a roll to hit,
Whatever
so
your
it'll be a
attack.
dexterity modifier plus proficiency modifier because it's a ranged attack.
Oh, okay. So then,
And if I
this will
recall,
be.
you took a feat or something that lets you get advantage if you ready your aim, right?
Yep. So I believe, and that one. So then I put me at a 24.
Okay.
I believe. Trying to do all the
Bob
math.
jumps off the mountain, does a 360 midair.
Yeah, but no, Savage. The shot is gonna go right through. He's gonna aim right at this other sniper's scope.
Sure. It goes boom, straight through the scope. The sniper flinches away. He's got good reflexes as well, and so it doesn't hit him in the head, but it hits him in the shoulder as he flinches out of the way. And he kind of he has to fight to hold on to his rifle. He's going to lose his turn as he essentially flinches. But because the sniper in particular is hooked to the top of the mountain or the top of the pass, he does not fall. So he's there. He's going to miss this round of combat. We will now enter initiative order. So why don't you all roll it?
Did T-Sev roll damage?
No, he didn't yet. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh,
T-Seth.
that's the 2d10. Okay.
Zoff got 18 for initiative.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have advantage on initiative. Haha. Oh, nice. 19.
19.
11.
And that's 15 damage from me as well.
Great. And then go ahead and roll initiative, which is just your dex mod.
It'd be 19.
19. Okay, and Savage just went, so we'll do Alan and then Savage in initiative order just to mix it up. And then I need to roll for the others. Oh, I guess I
Bad
need
guys.
to roll. Yep. Got a 14, a 1.
I love this music.
And a 17. Okay. Great. Okay, and that brings us to the top of initiative order, which is Alan Wadrir. Alan, you are 30 feet away, which means that crawling, you can only make it 15 feet, or maybe 20.
Well, I could make
if
it
you're-
20.
Yeah. And you are invisible.
This is true. How risky would it be to run?
It would be risky. You'd be rolling athletics, and the DC would be somewhat difficult.
Okay. Then Alan will crawl 20 feet. And I'm 30 feet away.
So basically,
Now-
you'd be in melee range for the next turn.
Okay. But so if I had something that did a 15-foot cone, for example, could I catch both of these bad guys in that?
Sure.
All right. So Alan is going to crawl 20 feet, and then he's laying on his stomach, but he unholsters his Eldritch Cannon flamethrower.
Okay.
Uses both arms.
invisible.
Puts it out. He's still invisible.
Yep.
Looks down the sight and pulls the trigger.
Alan
They
pulls
have
the
to
trigger, pops back into visibility as the spell breaks, and with the fire races out towards them, and
They have to make a DC 15 Dex saving throw.
Yeah, they do. The first one rolled an 18 on the die, it looks like.
Okay.
And the second one rolled a 17 on the die. They both passed their saves. What happens?
Okay, so they both take half damage, so 6 fire damage.
Okay. The sniper in particular is looking a little rough. He's looking singed. And that brings us to Savage's turn.
And you said there's 2 more with the sniper that are just kind of lookouts, right?
Sniper has 1 spotter, and then across the canyon on the other side is
okay, that's the third guy.
1 skirmisher.
Okay. Well, I'd imagine the skirmisher definitely saw the flames at this point.
Yeah, Alan is visible. His invisibility breaks when he attacks.
Yeah. Who was the one that they noticed first?
They noticed
that-
Zothkug.
That was
next to
Okay.
you.
So they haven't seen Fox or I yet, or both. They haven't seen Fox or I yet. Right?
You don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, in that case, I'm just gonna go. He's gonna go ahead and try to take out the sniper because the sniper seems like the bigger threat right now.
Sure.
And just take another shot at him
Okay.
while he's kind of stumbling. The hit that is 15.
It's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
That hits.
Awesome. And then 2 more. I have 3. Ooh. Oh well. I got 11 for damage.
11 points of damage. He is looking rough as another shot kind of fires into him. He's not looking great. Are you moving at all, Savage?
Savage is he's just gonna reload. That's really it.
Sure. Okay, Zothkug, it is your turn.
How far away are they?
Too far for most spells.
Is 120?
Yeah, sure. You can
Okay.
get within 120.
Then I will move within 120 and shoot the one that's been injured.
Okay, so Zoth crawls forward on his belly just a little bit, and then you're shooting him with...
Guiding bolt first level.
Sure. Does he save, or do you roll to hit?
I rolled to hit.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
23.
23
Nice.
hits. Roll damage.
It's gonna be 14 radiant.
14 radiant damage. The sniper expires as you
Nice.
hit him with a guiding bolt. The spotter goes, Frank, stay with me, Frank, stay. And then he looks over towards you. You see something flash in his eyes. It is his turn in initiative order, and he's going to pull out a cipher and slam the wingle digits into place. A thick mist rises out of the mountains between all of you, kind of obscuring your sight lines and making it hard to see what's going on. You hear the arcane energy of another cipher being activated, and Owlin rolls, I think, a dexterity save. Let me double check.
Oh boy.
Yes, Owlin rolls a dexterity save.
That's a 3.
That's a 3. Owlin, as a huge fireball just whooshes out of the mist
Holy.
towards you, and it literally just rolls over where you are and keeps on going towards the others. You take 8d6 fire damage. Go ahead and roll that for yourself.
Okay. It's a sphere of fire. Like, is it like a physical?
It is
ball
the
that's
spell
rolling
fireball.
Almost. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 8d6.
Yes. 8d6 damage as it rushes towards you.
Terrible.
It also, as I said, rolls past Owlin and continues on towards Fox and Savage, but it can only be moved technically each turn, so it's just going to hit him. Although, Fox, aren't you crawling with Owlin?
I was behind him, yes.
Yeah, so you're also in its 20-foot radius then for this round. So go ahead
Okay.
and roll a dexterity save.
All right. That's a 13.
13 is not enough, so you would have taken the full damage. Instead, roll 8d6 and take half of it with your roguish dodginess.
Roguish dodginess.
And that will conclude the spotter's turn, as far as you know, and bring us to Fox. It is your turn next. There is a big ball of fire on you, like where you and Owlin are, but kind of rolling past.
All right. That hurt a lot. Fox is going to take a second, assuming right after the fireball passes over, right?
Right?
Pulls out a crowbar, ties his rope to it, and then ties the other end of the rope to himself, leaving about 20 feet in between. and he's just gonna throw the crowbar over the right side of the mountain peak here
Okay.
and have it hook onto that.
Yeah.
And then he's going to run down Half Moon around Owlin.
That's dope. Roll acrobatics.
Crazy.
That is so
That's
cool.
26.
26. Easy peasy. Fox hooks the mountain, rolls down, does his half moon, and basically you emerge on the other side of the mist. So Fox, for the rest of you, kind of runs into the mist, disappears, and then emerges. Fox, you emerge right in the spotter's face.
I go to, as I run up, use the momentum to try to drop kick him
Oh,
with
nice.
the blade extended.
Let's go.
Oh, with the leg blade. Let's
kind
go.
of slides out of Fox's prosthetic leg, and he leaps into a drop kick. He rolls to hit. It looks like maybe he crits.
I got a nat 20!
He got a nat
Yes.
20. Fox, describe the kill.
Okay. Fox wordlessly puts down this crowbar, slaps it down, and you just see him run down off the side. And as he comes up through the mist, Spotter turns to look only to find a blade cutting straight into his skull, knocking him off of the surface. And as he slides away from the blade, he free falls and just crumples down as a dirty mass at the bottom of the gulch.
Amazing.
Of this pass. Fox, using the momentum, having canceled his inertia, I should say, on his face, is able to then land on top of this mountain peak.
Do you catch the dead sniper? Is that how you catch yourself?
Oh, yes, there we go. Yeah, because he's still hanging by, like, he hooked himself
Exactly.
to the
Yes, you
That's
catch him by
awesome.
like his harness or whatever, and Fox is just hanging there, which conveniently puts Fox out of sight of the skirmisher on the other side of the gorge or of Goats Ridge Pass here.
One good roll.
All that is left is that skirmisher, who it's his turn. And seeing his teammates dispatched in this way, all of you hear his voice echo down into the canyon. We gotta fall back! We gotta fall back! I don't even know who these guys are! And they leap. The skirmisher leaps off of the kind of precipice where he's been looking down and slides down into the canyon, kind of like skating down the side of Goats Ridge Pass into the ground, where he meets up with, if any of you are able to see, I guess just Fox because of the mist. Maybe Owlin can see as well. You see one of the rocks kind of stands up and reveals itself as a cloak with some clever painting and camouflage done to it. And they sprint away from you down Goats Ridge Pass and around one of the corners, which takes us out of initiative order. And the fireball above Owlin dissipates as the caster is no longer holding the cipher and controlling it. And you all find yourself in this scenario. A family of goats goes by looking confused.
Fox is he going to waste no time immediately searching the dead man he's clinging on to for any signs of identification, conveniently placed winkle digits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fox, you find an identity badge, an ID badge. That's what they're called. You find an ID badge, and the ID badge has a name which doesn't matter. But the organization that this person belongs to, they're a security officer for the School of Arcane. Let me make sure I get this right. The School of Arcane Recomposition they're a security officer for the School of Arcane Recomposition, and the logo looks like something you maybe glimpsed on the Plane Callers Index that Jeb is carrying, but of course with him having lost his voice, he won't be able to explain what exactly that sigil means for you today. That's too bad. And the other things you find some ammunition for a rifle of ice knife. So they're like, little cipher packets basically that are just designed to be easier to load into the rifle than stacking it one at a time with ciphers. So basically you find 30 wingle digits, which would be 3 reloads, and a rifle of ice knife, which even as the person died because he harnessed himself is kind of dangling there. So you can grab the rifle and carry that with you if you like.
I will.
The 3 shells you have give you 2 shots each. So each time you reload, you get 2 shots. And you find a small picture of his wife and kids, and you find And you find a blood-soaked deck of playing cards that he kept in his breast pocket from where Savage hit him. You also find his MRE, which you're not sure if it is improved or worsened by the fact that it's been rained on. And that is what you find when you loot the body.
Okay, and so is the ice knife loaded already?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 extra shells on top of that.
Yes.
Hey, Alan, are you okay, man?
I'm a little burnt, but I'm better than I would have been a few months ago, I guess. But definitely singed.
Dolph will do a 2nd level cure wounds on Alan.
What should you or I roll for the healing on that?
Oh, minimum roll, but it's 7 health back.
Real quick,
7?
DM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Picture of family and what else?
Picture family, blood-soaked deck of playing cards.
Right.
And an MRE, like a single meal ready to eat. The little can of military food, basically.
All right. I'll take all of that.
You find that this person has eaten the dessert out of their ration already. You feel a slight kinship with them.
Right. Frown, but not in respect.
Great. Thunder crashes overhead and the rain begins to intensify as chat changes the weather. In the intensified rain, you get the idea that it will both be easier for you to stay hidden and harder for you to travel.
All right. I telepathically, since we're still telepathically linked. All right. Do we need to stay up here any longer? I would rather get down before it gets too arduous to get down with this rain.
Savage's
I guess
answer
that's
back,
fair.
yeah. We
The
need to get
gorge is
down.
going to get slick, because you're hanging on like a pointy top. It's not like there's a walking path up here. You would need to slide down either the long side and try and descend that 200 to 300 feet, or slide back down the 50 feet into the pass.
I feel like going back into the pass is fine since we've kind of cleared out the danger.
Hey, Fox, before we go, do you need any healing? Are you good?
I will be fine for now.
Okay.
Fox will hook over the other side towards the passage. And using the harness from this dead man, I'm going to use any rope he had and use him as the, stabilizing point.
Yeah, like the rappel point or whatever.
Yeah. And use that to get down. Should I roll acrobatics?
No, you're not really under time pressure, and you're a rogue. This is something you're capable of doing. You get yourself down into... You're going back into Goat's Ridge Pass, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get back down into Goat's Ridge Pass. Everyone else eventually finds their way into Goat's Ridge Pass.
Alan wants to try sliding down like he saw the other person do.
Okay. Roll an athletics check.
All right.
See if Alan has the core strength for this.
12.
12. Almost. Alan makes it 20 feet down before it's probably the rain. He saw the technique when it's
just too
dry,
slick.
but his feet slide out from under him. He kind of smacks his back against the rocks and then falls the last 20 feet. So take 1d6 of fall damage.
Also, this is the side where the guy crumpled down into, right?
No,
Yeah.
he fell on the far side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Different mental image,
No worries.
mental mind.
Well,
Yeah, in your mental mind. As you kind of surface on the ground, Jeb pops up from where he's been sitting or hiding or whatever, staying safe. Pops out of the dirt really quick, looks up at the rain and coughs in disgust, and then takes a look at the sigil that you saw on the ID badge. Maybe you brought it back down with you. He looks
Right.
at it, and then he pulls out the plane collar's index and kind of consults between the two of them, puts away the plane collar's index, pulls out his journal, and writes plane of limbo, and draws the sigil again underneath it. This sigil represents the plane of limbo. And then he puts his journal away, burrows back into the ground. Chat purchased you a clue.
I wonder if perhaps... I wish we had had a chance to maybe not get into a fight.
Well, I don't think they would have given us that chance.
No, I agree with you.
Although it seemed like we maybe weren't what they were actually expecting.
Are they just here to guard the pass?
I don't know. I just know that one of the guards shouted out that, or one of the soldiers shouted out, "I don't even know who these guys are," or something along those lines, which surprised me. Which is good because it means, well, it's not that good. If we had the element of surprise, we don't have it now.
Well,
They're definitely waiting for us.
I
I'm gonna
will
be honest
say
with you
I've
guys.
never seen them in all my passings of this.
I'm worried that perhaps there's a case of mistaken identity on both of our parts. What if perhaps they were expecting the same people we're fighting against?
I don't think so, because if they have a sigil of the plane of limbo on their identification, that seems to me that they are not on our side, because the plane of
Diablos
limbo
from
is the plane of limbo is what we're fighting against.
I mean, fair enough, but they weren't expecting us, which just seems odd. They were expecting someone, but were caught off by who we were.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either.
Savage is gonna kind of nervously think to himself, I wonder
think-
if my passage is compromised.
Do you think we can track them down? Follow them?
I think
Pretty
that
sure
would be
they're
a good
waiting for
idea.
us around the corner or down the road.
Savage, you are an experienced ranger who knows this terrain well. Even for you, you're confident that it will be challenging the longer it rains. Like, it's going to get harder and harder because there's so little flora and fauna and dirt up here to find footprints in. The little traces that you would use, like it, it is a matter of time as well as skill in this
Right.
downpour.
Savage is gonna tell everyone we need to get moving ASAP if we're gonna be tracking anything. I'd also realized the only place I could think of these people coming from would be this building that we're about to go around, because I have never noticed any other camps, any other structures going through here. This is a very first for me.
Well, you're probably correct. But yes, I agree. Let's move to see if we can perhaps even make ground on them before they reach their base. I don't want them
Do we
to
need to
know
fight
that
them?
we're
If they're
here.
leaving us alone, we can
Well,
just ignore them
if
and
they're
continue.
if they're going to warn their
We should
superiors
trail.
that we're on the way, then I think that's really bad for all of us.
Or, worst case scenario, if it was a case of mistaken identity, at least we can clear our name or absolve whatever's happening. Though, sadly, if that is true, then, well,
I think stabbing them is not a good way.
I think casting Fireball is not a good way either.
I think we were justified in the fact that they were laying an ambush.
I agree.
So I think let's proceed.
Savage, go ahead and roll me a survival check. This is the only one you will not be rolling at disadvantage because you were on the jump here as the heavy rain started.
Survival. I got an 18.
18. Savage, you pick up the trail of either them or a mountain goat, and you begin leading. You're not like 100% sure, but you're like, it's probably like it'd be a clumsy mountain goat, but it'd be a pretty good attempt for a person who's running through the mountains to hide their tracks. So you, as quickly as you can, you kind of squirm your way through Goats Ridge Pass. You get to the other side of it, and the ground opens up, and the mountains kind of slope away from you. So at this point, to your left, which would be towards the west of the mountain range, the mountains slope down into an area that has been cleared by creatures and construction. And in that area, there is a massive stone and wood building that has been constructed. And it doesn't have any markings on the outside or anything like that. It's roughly the shape of a cube, although because it's built from individual stone blocks, like cinder or brick or something like that, like big stone blocks, it's not perfectly square. It has a large tower at the northwestern corner of it that seems to be functioning as kind of a lookout. And there are ciphers of daylight that are all around the outside of it in a big ring being powered by those large arcane batteries. Savage, these were not there the last time you were here, so it seems like construction is continuing on this building even as it's being used or whatever. You see a small line of about 16 or 17 different humanoid creatures, a mixture of races, gnomes and elves and humans and whatever, that are kind of lined up outside the front door. They've all got thick traveling cloaks on to try and ward off the rain, and they're being escorted by heavily robed figures The robes are like a deep crimson color, and the robed figures all have little tags hanging off of them that are probably ID badges. You can't read them from here, but because Fox has seen one, we can infer that these are all tags of the Academy of Arcane Recomposition, or the School of Arcane Recomposition. At the same time, you see on the western end, so the side away from you, a single person rides away on horseback, just kind of riding off into the distance. You can't make out any other details about them, but the longer you watch, the more often you see that. It's probably every half hour that this happens. Of course, you're more interested in where is your quarry, who you've been pursuing. And you do spot probably 100 feet ahead of you and maybe 500 feet from the school. You see the two ambushers or security guards or whatever it is that these creatures were. You see the two of them sprinting, full tilt. They're leaping over rocks. They're slipping and sliding in the rain, trying to get back to the academy. They haven't yelled out yet, which tells you they're either out of breath or they are not in earshot.
So only Savage sees this, or was everybody kind of see this?
Savage sees it and can relay it to everybody.
Yeah, we're definitely going to relay it back to them. Kind of tell them, like, we need to make a decision now. We need to either go after them or we need to let it slide.
My vote is let it slide. If we can get away from them, then they won't know anything, especially with this rain.
Yeah, I'm somewhat inclined to agree that perhaps we do let this slide, and while there's confusion or commotion at the school, we can skirt around it and maybe make it around unharmed and unnoticed.
I don't like that they were sitting in an ambush. We don't know why. We don't know who these people are. For all we know, they could be part of the people patrolling, and if that's true and they get word out, that's going to cause big problems for us. Savage, can you slow them down?
I'm gonna have to basically use a dash action. I think I'm trying to figure out what Savage can
Fox
do
dashes
here.
as well. Fox immediately starts dashing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a dash action just to get in range.
Engaging?
Yeah,
Fox is
I'm
engaging.
gonna engage with Fox.
Okay.
If that's going to happen, then Alan will too. He'll draw his
Doubles
rifle
up.
of ice knife. All right, we're doing this.
Okay.
What is the range of the rifle of ice knife?
120
It's 90
feet. Or
I thought it was
sorry,
90
what Alan
feet.
said. 90 feet. Yeah.
Okay.
So Alan will need to make up some ground.
Yeah.
So
But at a
if you
dash,
said
he
they're
can do
100
80 feet.
Okay.
If they're 100 feet away,
You can all
Right.
get in range of the shot this round, but not close enough to knock them over. Because they're
Okay.
sprinting and you're sprinting.
can I do a called shot?
I'll allow it. That's not really a thing in 5e. That's a thing in 3.5, but I'll allow it. So
okay, I
you'll
wasn't
roll
sure.
it. You'll roll at disadvantage, but on the other hand, you'll get to choose the effect of the shot that you make.
All right. Fox sprints forward, goes down on one knee. Really, he's just replicating what he has seen of Savage and of other people using the ice knife, as he's not as skilled, and he's just hoping that instincts kick in as he aimed down sight. Rolling at disadvantage. What do I use?
Ranged attack, dex plus proficiency.
Gotcha. In that case,
Is Fox proficient with a nice ice knife rifle?
He's proficient with ranged weapons.
Oh, okay.
that is a 16.
16? A 16 will hit. Attacker
All right,
wins
I
the
am-
tie.
Looking to take out a knee or
Okay.
leg.
Yeah, they used to be an adventurer. You blow out the knee of one of them. It doesn't really matter which one. You're not very familiar with either. But one of them does,
Sure.
they lose a knee. They fall to the ground. They begin yelling. You're not confident whether anyone has heard them in the school or not.
It's 1d10 piercing damage on a hit, and then every creature within 5 feet takes 3d6 cold damage on a failed dex save.
Yep.
Just
Sorry,
a
say it
reminder of
again?
how it works.
Yeah.
1d10 piercing damage on the guy that you took out the knee, and then that person and the person next to them need to make a dex saving throw, or take 3d6 cold damage.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and roll that out? Yeah. I got
The dex save definitely fails.
10 on the D10.
Okay.
Nice.
Where'd my D6 go? There it is. And 2, 4, 5.
Okay.
2, 4, 5, 6, 11. 11 cold
Oh,
damage.
nice.
Cool. So the one that you shot is like the whole way to bloodied in one hit. So he like falls to the ground and he's crawling forward and yelling. The other one like takes a little bit of the cold damage, but is able to keep on his feet and keep running.
Okay, I'm gonna use the rest of my movement. Like using
Just trying to keep pace.
Yeah, just trying to cut down as much with movement speed of 30 plus.
Sure.
It only took probably my movement action itself. I can use the dash to get that other 30.
Okay. Just remember, reloading is an action as well. Since
Gotcha.
you're
I
not-
still got one shot, right?
Well, you need to like you gotta cock it in between.
Oh, okay.
That's a bonus action. Reloading's a full action. So you can
Gotcha,
bonus
gotcha.
action dash, or you can bonus action reload.
Bonus action dash.
Okay. Savage, you were the next one to sprint after him. So what would Savage like to do?
So I have 2 actions I can use here really quick. I'm already caught up to him. Like I can just do act right now.
You're running, so you're using your move
Okay.
action to stay in.
Oh, okay. So I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is take out my grappling hook. Actually, no. I'm actually gonna hold that. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of take aim at the second guy, but go more for his legs, kind of like the lower. 'Cause
Okay,
I want to
call
try
shot
and
the same way Cleo did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess
So
so. Yep.
roll your attack at disadvantage. But if you hit, it'll be straight to the legs.
Alrighty.
Well, leg.
That's-
It's a single shot.
Straight to the knee.
Oh, I forgot I had an ice rifle sound. There's Cleo.
Nice. I got a 12.
12. A 12 is not enough. It's tough when you're trying to get those specific shots and you're running in the rain and they're running. It's a lot of moving pieces. And so you fire right over the shoulder. It misses and the person continues running, sprinting towards the school. They are almost to the range of the Ciphers of Daylight at this point as you're pursuing. Owlin, what will you be doing?
Alan will be also rifle of ice knifing, but
Ice knifling?
ice knifling. I think he's not going to call a shot. But he is going to shoot at the one that's still running.
Sure.
The gamble is calling a shot makes it less likely that he hits, but if he hits, he thinks that maybe with 1d10 piercing damage plus cold damage, maybe that's enough
Sure.
to stop this person. So he's gonna roll to hit. 18.
18. Yep, that hits.
Okay. Your dex save DC is 15. His D10
That is
damage.
a natural one.
Great. So 6 piercing damage plus. Oh, nice. Plus 16 cold damage.
Yeah, he's dead.
Let's go.
So one of them is
Damn,
crawling and
nice.
one of them is dead. The crawling one is yelling.
All right.
Okay.
Hands off.
Lay on him.
Bolt, guiding bolt, the crawling one.
Yeah, sure.
Don't kill him. Don't kill him.
Zoth, kill him. Zoth, please kill him. Definitely kill him. Do it, man.
I can catch up. I can catch up to him. I can catch
Zoth-
up to him. We need to
Zoth
figure
is-
out. We
is
need an.
guiding bolt. If it kills him, it kills him.
He's
29.
prone. Roll with advantage.
Okay. Well, I got a 19. So,
That hits.
Yeah. So 29 total.
He's dead. Wasted. It's like negative 11 hit points or something like that.
I'm sorry, Fox. We needed him to stop yelling. I'm sorry.
It's nowhere near.
In
other
the
one was
relative
yelling too.
quiet, you look down the mountain towards the school to see if anything is happening at the School of Arcane Recomposition. A few of the people in the line are looking around like they maybe heard something but don't know exactly what they heard. You don't see anything else happening for the moment. You think maybe you got them in time.
Keeping the gray tutu skin outfit, I'm going to try to move my way down stealth because it seems like there's no rush right now. Nobody's patrolling looking for what happened. If I do see somebody patrolling, that changes. But
You don't at the moment.
lo-
You can make
as
a
long as I
perception check
don't
if you want.
see, you know what? Yeah, I'll roll the perception check. That's
Great.
more. Nat 20. Let's go.
Nat 20. There are 7 snipers defending this building. They are spaced in a septagram around the building up on little mountain outcroppings. So they're all up high, and of them, 3 have spotters. So the idea would be that like the primary ones have a spotter with them, and then the others would reinforce or just have kind of a backup angle. The group that you have attacked appears to have been the 8th, what would have made an octagon. And based on that, you can assume that they are also reinforced by a skirmisher and a frontline fighter. None of them appear to have seen or are looking in your direction, but all of them are quite on the alert. It's just that the rain is so heavy at this point that between the gray tutu skin and the thick, heavy rain, they are not going to be able to see you as long as you move slowly.
I'm going to move down then to the body that got the furthest.
Okay.
And I can roll stealth if you want.
Okay. You can roll stealth if you want. I'll tell it to you.
You know what?
Way.
I will roll stealth then.
Okay.
I got a 27.
Sure.
And I'm just going to get down there. Once I'm down there, I'm going to attempt to cover the body, find like a log or something to lean it up against, push some like foliage over him. And if there's I'm imagining there's some foliage down here where there's a building.
No,
if there
they
isn't,
cleared this area to build their building, but there
area.
are boulders. You could like roll them under a stone or something.
I'm gonna push them behind a boulder out of sight.
Great.
And if there's some gravel, I might bury him a bit in gravel.
Great. As you're moving him, a little picture of him falls out of his lapel with his 3 daughters.
I pick that up and I pocket that as well, and then realize I'm gonna search the rest of him because I didn't get a chance to.
You don't find anything else on his person.
All right,
except his
it's not a
cutlass.
Playing cards that are bloodied or
No, this was a skirmisher. He's got to be light on his feet. He can't carry playing cards. That's so heavy.
okay. I will take that and his ID card.
Okay.
And I'll package those together in my pack. Let me mark that down, and then I'm gonna work my way back up. I guess where I'm probably gonna meet Savage.
I'm going to be doing the same thing that Fox just did. I'm basically going to loot him and hide his body.
Great. The other one picture falls out of his lapel as well, but he looks like a real jerk. It's like a picture of him holding up like a huge fish somewhere that you're pretty sure fishing isn't really allowed. And you are like, oh, I don't really feel bad about this one. And you drag him behind a boulder or something, and you stow him away.
When he gets stowed away, I'm going to get up with Savage, silently point out the lookouts and where they're located. And I'm figuring we're decent. The guy, we shot him before he get a chance to make it too far.
We're like 300, 400 feet away. I think.
Something like that.
I'm going to take the chance to pull out my sax.
Ooh.
And play a little beat. And I'm gonna call Speak with the Dead.
You know the rules, and so do I. You haven't done the incantation yet.
Oh, okay. I thought humming it with the sax was good enough. Okay, fine. You're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Oh, God. Off the top of my head. You know what I'm thinking of?
I think it's a Real Connections, what I'm thinking of, or something
Real
like
Connections, what I'm thinking of. Damn it. Listen, all right, I hummed the tune. I remember the first two bits of lyrics.
The body sits up. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. And then it locks eye contact.
Okay. I'm going to ask, what is the purpose of this facility?
The Academy of Arcane Recomposition is where we train the newly empowered mages.
Is this part of the new world government being set up?
It squints, and you get the idea that complicated, like, political discourse is maybe a little bit above this creature. It replies, maybe.
Did an army take over the land, and this is part of that new army's force?
No.
All right, quick guys. Any other questions?
No.
Because I probably got one left.
What are you waiting for in the ambush?
Who were you expecting at the ambush?
There is a ranger who has been escorting people through the mountains without permission to pass through this newly classified land. We were ordered to apprehend him. And the body just flops back on the ground.
Guys, they said apprehend, not kill.
Interesting.
If I was going to step forward, he's like, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. I
Well-
wouldn't want to be apprehended by anybody.
I at least feel somewhat justified that we were probably going to end it in a fight anyway, but... Okay. I help Savage re-hide the body.
Great.
So what's our plan?
I think we continue on Savage's path, and hopefully should be easier going from here since we're about to pass this structure.
The only difference from my other travels with this is this lighting that they now have. But with the rain, and as long as we stay quiet, we might still be able to get by, as long as we follow on the path that I have set.
Well, I say let's get following, because this rain is going to help us.
Everybody roll stealth with advantage.
Yeah.
Man, you can't get better than that.
Oh wait, that's an.
Nat 20, let's go.
Nice.
Oh.
I got an 8.
I got a non-nat 20.
Okay.
Not a nat 20, but I got a 34.
Alan, with his nat 20, is able to compensate for Zoth's shortcomings in the areas of stealth and assists him. Because, I mean...
To be fair, Alan is bad at stealth, but he's just been rolling well at it.
Well, and Alan...
He's getting
he
better
might
at
be bad at stealth the way that Fox does stealth, but Alan was a soldier and did have to move under cover of night through these mountains as a soldier. And so
This is true.
he's
also,
probably familiar with hiding in the terrain.
Chat points out that this is a storm, and Alan is a Storm Herald Barbarian, so he's
Also
in his
that.
element.
Yeah, so Alan's in his element and gives Zothkug a hand, corrects his steps, helps him look for different shapes to hide behind and ways to move himself that are a little bit more stealthy. And you follow Savage Tempest's pre-mapped out path, which leads you down towards the school, but not into the range of the Ciphers of Daylight. You skirt just outside those edges, and at one point you think you see one of the snipers above that whoever it was who got the nat 20, counted all the snipers and stuff. You think you see one of them look towards you, but you freeze the group, and they overlook you and go right back into their kind of scan and look in a distance. And Savage keeps the party moving, and you find yourselves on the other side of the Academy of Arcane Recomposition. All that remains is for Savage to find that little tucked away cave entrance that is a side entrance to the lair of Kavor, and for you to kind of set up a camp for the evening. So as you leave the Academy behind you, the rain finally begins fading, and night begins falling, and so it is well and truly dark by the time Savage finds this cave and kind of points you in the right direction.
When did we want to call them in?
Well, I believe that we wanted to call them in once we secured the fact that we would be able to get to where we need to go. So I think we negotiate with Kavor first. Make sure that we will be able to get through her lair.
I agree.
And once we have the go ahead there, then we call them in.
And having the avatars make that easier.
Yeah, I would say for safety reasons to do everything you can before you confirm a call in, because with the amount of airships that are around, you most likely will get compromised.
I think, yes, for that reason, I agree with you, Zoth, in that you are probably correct. But I also agree with Savage that I think we should try to negotiate ourselves first and have bringing the airship in as a last resort.
I roll stealth check.
It just flies by. You're in a cave.
Oh,
Everybody at the deck!
Yeah, okay. Does that make sense, Zoth? I think we should use that as a last resort, but as an option.
It does make sense, but they have to get here anyway. Whether we go in first and negotiate versus whether they come
okay.
in.
Listen, right? I think you're failing to understand here is that we're going to be set on a timetable that is immutable the second we call them in. The second we call them in, we are running out of time. So we need to buy as much time before we call them in. And if we can negotiate with Kavar before that, that will be so much better. We have no idea how long it's going to take to go to the Slayer, to talk, to negotiate. And so the longer we can stall calling in reinforcements, even if it would make what we're about to do easier, I think we don't really have a choice but to stall as long as possible.
They really be able to fight a dragon, though?
I hope we don't end up fighting the dragon.
Not us, them, the people. So if we call it in, we all run in. Would the enemies really want to invade this dragon's lair?
They fought Thraxenhow.
But they came prepared for that fight. They're not prepared to fight a dragon right now.
We don't know that. They
Yeah,
have a
we
whole
don't know.
arcane college over there trained for specifically combat.
They aren't trained very well.
Well, I'd like to think that we're above, that. But you still get my point. We were able to fight off 4 people, 2 of them running without fighting. All right? You gotta remember,
Imagine what a dragon could do.
we only really fought 2 of them. There's a whole school back there. There's a dragon, and that's just the school. Who knows what other military reinforcements are within nearby? If we call an airship, it is not worth it until we know for sure that is the next play. And that is right now not what we need to do for sure.
I think I see both points. I think maybe we need to sleep on it, get a good night's rest, and then discuss it further tomorrow.
I think it would help. I see Jeb wiggling in the corner.
Yeah,
and it's going to be so much better.
Unfortunately, in his ill condition, Jeb is not able to use the verbal components of the spell that he was casting to create the tiny hut for everybody. And so, unfortunately, you will have to kind of rough it for the evening. But
Can we make a fire here this time?
Yes, you're in a cave, so you can make a fire. The smoke will, kind of collect a little bit, but it should be close enough to the surface that it won't kill you or anything.
All right.
I can be on first watch tonight.
Savage is going to start setting up a fire.
I'll take second watch.
I'd rather, as long as it's just us, I'd rather we just go in, but we'll talk in the morning.
Let's sit on it, and yes, we'll talk in the morning.
Fox unrolls his bedroll and sets down the ID badges he has collected, along with the mementos, both the pictures and the bloody playing cards. And for the first time, he prays. He knows that their passage will not be, one it will be interrupted, as all souls are right now, but he hopes that once this all settles, they find peace.
Have an inspiration. What an interesting point of growth for Fox.
I like it. I think Savage is going to go ahead and finish up the fire, stand up. He's going to kind of step aside to make sure everybody's in front of him. And this is somewhat of an emotional moment for him, solely because this is the most adventure he's had in a while, because minus the maybe the guerrilla fighting that he did in Udril, and the moving of the refugees here in Aspesh. All he's ever done is hunted down his targets and gone after revenge, basically. So meeting these guys was the first time he's ever had to change his adventure, change his way of thinking. It was experience for him. But he's going to kind of take that all in, and this is where I take my leave, crew. I need to, as much as I would like to stay with you all, I do have to get back and help these refugees continue on, because the work doesn't end until everybody's safe.
Well, be extra safe now that you know they're after you.
I shall, but it hasn't bothered me before. I've always had a target on my back.
You're doing.
She'll just make it more interesting.
You're doing great work, Savage. We appreciate
Hopefully
it a lot.
We'll see you at the end of this all.
My work is underrated compared to what you guys are about to do. So I wish you luck.
Keep your knives sharp and your eyes sharper.
Absolutely. He's going to kind of knock on the ground. I guess Jeb's underground still. He's going to kind of tap on the ground to just let Jeb know that he has taken his leave.
Jeb pops his head out and like waves goodbye.
He's going to kind of taps everybody on the shoulder, give a last minute handshake to everybody, and silently head off into the up the trail.
Fox will look out the cave and just watch him as far as he goes until he disappears.
As Savage fades into the distance and you all sit down to go to sleep for the night, Zothkug taking the first watch, you kind of like kick off your wet boots, to let them warm by the fire or whatever. And for the first time, with the heavy rain having obscured it, you notice that a thick coating of like grime or muck has stuck to the bottom of your boots, probably from as you passed by the School of Arcane Recomposition. And on that note, tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session comes to a close. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you, chat, for being here with us. Thank you to Mama Panda for the follow. And thanks so much to Savage T-Sav for joining us for a couple fun-filled sessions of adventure. If you are not already watching him over at twitch.tv/SirTSav, go do so. T-Sav, when do you play? What can they see? What can they expect?
Most of the time, I'm a variety streamer. I've been on the Sea of Thieves grind a lot. I play a lot of Halo as well. We do a lot of speed running, lasso runs. You can also catch some Minecraft on Mondays here and there, and definitely a lot of other FPS games.
Basically, if you want to see someone who's good at games instead of like we're people who are fun at games, but T-Sav is someone who is good at games. So if you go watch his channel, you will be, I think, far more impressed than you would be if you watched us in our Halo and Warzone days.
I really appreciate you guys having me. This was a fun time. I got to learn D&D here. Played with you guys, the first time a year ago, and I was able to teach me the ropes of D&D. So I was very happy to get back on here and have my finale, I guess.
Our story
I can't wait to see where the story's going. I can't wait.
I will say that I like that for having you here, we bought and sold a pony and shot a few people.
Yep.
In that order.
Which I think we can all agree, those are the most classic D&D things to do. Buy and sell ponies and shoot people. Classic D&D behaviors. If you look in the lore, that's lore accurate D&D.
Accurate.
Until next Monday, from all of us here at the Wing Badger Tavern, Tyler, what do we tell the people?
GN and GG's and GN.
GN and GG's and GN. You heard it here first, folks. See you next Monday.
Well, you and me, the end of the video, kind of awkward. Kind of waiting for you to subscribe and all that. I'm just gonna head out.